When we were building our house, it was really looking at how our family used the space that we were in and what resources we used. And so rather than trying to do a one-size-fits-all, we said, what are the things that we consume, and then how do we make less of a footprint for those? And my goal was not to take us completely off the grid or to to find a complete solution for anything, but to just make everything as good as it could be, make everything a little bit better.
It's no longer a question of if people want green homes or not. They do. They want healthy environments for their families. They want to know that they're not going to be paying a lot in energy or in water costs. But it needs to be cost effective. And it can't take any more time than a non-green home. It needs to be easy. It can't be complicated. We can't require people to do tons of research.
Figuring out how to make the best trade-offs is probably the biggest challenge in embarking on a project like this. There's a lot of information out there, but being able to pull everything down into a common currency so that you can trade off one thing against another in a rational way, so that understanding whether energy conservation or water conservation is more important in the context of your construction project. Those are going to be the most challenging things. I think people get very confused. They get told that they should do this, they shouldn't do that, there's no good reasoning behind it. And it was my irritation with what I saw as a lot of the misinformation out there that made me decide to go try to figure it out myself. But until that information is available, it's hard to say that asking everyone to go on an epic journey to find all of this data for themselves, I don't think people can do that. It's too difficult to do it for every product decision you make.
People want to do the right thing. We just don't know. You can't decipher that on a monthly electricity bill. You have no idea what that meant. You know exactly how much you paid at the pump. For many people, however, that's an incremental small cost. If you total that up for the year, it's pretty significant. But if you monitored every action and had that as a feedback loop, you would, I think, change behaviors.
A piece of software can know what are the carbon and cost implications of the householder's actions. And by trying to feed that information back, you hope that you can sort of try and change behavior. And some of those can be very simple things. So we're doing some work on looking at thermostats that actually tell you the cost of your thermostat setting. How much your electricity is going to cost, or your gas is going to cost today, this week, this month, based on things that it's learnt about your home and weather predictions. And that's a very simple piece of information, but it's quite powerful. There's 2 more degrees C on your thermostat has some cost implication, and if you actually get that feedback at the time, that may be a key driver to changing behaviour.
I think the big question and what we're going to ask from people is for them to change their ways, or to at least change their demands on that system. Right now people think about when they switch their washing machine on. The new question might be, when do you want your laundry to be finished? That might be a very subtle difference, but for people to start thinking like that is a very big change.
If you want to have the best global impact, you need to be thinking about how you're fitting in with your local environment as well, because I think working well in your local environment will end up having a much better effect long-term globally. It makes no sense to take something like what we've done and transplant it into a cold climate or transplant it into a very wet climate. Many of the choices that we've made aren't optimized for either of those climates. And so our house would be the wrong house almost anywhere else. But it's the right house here.